Welcome to this week's roundup of key business developments in Sri Lanka. I'm Nishani Pigera. Let's first take a look at the headlines. Trump pauses tariffs for 90 days. Sri Lanka and IMF hold talks. And Parate suspension extended to aid SMEs until year-end. In this week's top story, US President Donald Trump paused the reciprocal tariffs on 75 countries, including Sri Lanka, for 90 days, retaining the 10% baseline rate in place. The president cited that these countries had expressed a willingness to negotiate a solution to tariffs, trade barriers, and currency manipulation, and had not retaliated with their own tariffs. Trump, however, noted that the 125% tariffs on China will remain due to their retaliation. Also this week, the Sri Lankan government formally appealed to India to expand its Indo-Lanka Free Trade Agreement quota from 8 million to 50 million units. Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath told Parliament that the current quota is fully utilized and is outdated, noting that the agreement was signed 25 years ago. Alternatively, the government requested $500 million in new export facilities to help offset the impact of the US tariff. On Tuesday, President Anurukumara Dissanayake met with a visiting International Monetary Fund delegation to review Sri Lanka's progress under its extended fund facility. The talks, part of the preliminary fourth tranche review, focused on the country's reform achievements and outlined key steps needed to meet future economic targets. Led by IMF Deputy Director Sanjay Pant, the delegation commended Sri Lanka's ongoing efforts. The meeting also addressed emerging global challenges, including the potential impact of the new US tariffs. Meanwhile, Evan Propageorgiou has been named the new IMF mission chief for Sri Lanka, succeeding Peter Brough, who has played a pivotal role in supporting Sri Lanka's economic recovery since 2022. Sri Lanka's economy is projected to grow by 3.9% in 2025, following a stronger-than-expected 5% rebound in 2024, the highest growth rate since 2017, according to the Asian Development Bank's April 2025 outlook. The ADB attributes this recovery to improved reserves, strong remittances and tourism, and rising private sector credit. While inflation fell to 1.2% in 2024 due to utility price cuts, it is expected to rise moderately to 3.1% in 2025 as demand and energy tariffs increase. The ADB cautions that growth remains fragile but expects the recovery to continue through 2026. In a move to support struggling businesses, Sri Lanka's Finance Ministry has extended the suspension of Parate execution until December 31, 2025, contrary to the recent remarks in Parliament. Small and medium enterprises with loans under 25 million rupees will receive relief until the end of the year. Those with facilities between 25 million rupees and 50 million rupees have until September 30th, while larger borrowers have until June 30th. The extension applies only to SMEs that initiated talks with banks before the 31st of March. On Tuesday, Adani Ports, in partnership with John Keells Holdings and the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, officially commenced operations at the Colombo West International Terminal. The $800 million terminal, developed under a 35-year private-public partnership, has a 1,400-meter quay and a 20-meter depth. It can handle 3.2 million TEUs annually, making it South Asia's first fully automated deep-water terminal. In our weekly tourism update, in the first 6 days of April, Sri Lanka welcomed 38,615 tourists, bringing the total arrivals for 2025 to 760,891. With the end of the peak season, daily arrivals fell to 6,436, down from the 7,547 recorded in March. India, the United Kingdom and Russia are top source markets in April, with India leading at 6,548 visitors. The all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange went through a tumultuous week as panicking retail investors sold on news of Trump's tariffs. Apparel counters were worst affected, along with banks. The index has wiped out all gains made in 2025. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on all maturities were unchanged. Bids amounting to 139 billion rupees were received, of which 3.8 billion were accepted. The Sri Lankan rupee depreciated against the US dollar this week, with the central bank's indicative mid-spot rate falling to 301 for the first time in 7 months. And that concludes our update for this week. We will see you again in 2 weeks. Wishing all our viewers a happy and prosperous new year. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe.